The massive alien ships dropped out of hyperspace like falling stars. Their dark metal hulls blocked out the sun as they moved toward Earth. Inside the lead ship, Commander Veltar checked his weapons one more time. His crystal-like skin glowed with excitement. This would be easy work. Another primitive world to add to the Empire, he told his strike team. Intelligence says they barely have space travel. No real weapons, no unified defense, just another weak species living on a death world. The team around him nodded. They were the best warriors from 6 different alien races. Crix clicked his insect mandibles with hunger. His forearms checked his plasma rifles. Gol, the predator from Vorthak Prime, sharpened his claws. The others prepared their gear with the calm confidence of soldiers who had never lost a battle. Veltar had conquered 47 worlds. He had never met a species that could stand against the Galactic Empire's might. These humans would surrender within hours, maybe minutes. Down on Earth's surface, Dr. Kang Wu felt his coffee cup vibrate on his desk. He looked up from his research papers and saw something impossible through his office window. Giant alien ships were descending from the sky like dark clouds. Come here quickly, he called to his colleagues. Li Na ran in from the greenhouse, dirt still on her gloves. She was a botanist who spent most of her time with plants, not watching the sky. Park Do followed behind her, carrying a watering can. He took care of the gardens around their research building. Are those really alien ships? Na asked, staring upward. They look angry, Du said quietly. Wu grabbed his emergency phone and dialed the government contact number they had given him years ago. He never thought he would actually need to use it. This is Dr. Kang Wu at Seoul Advanced Agricultural Research, he said when someone answered. We have alien ships landing near our facility. We know, Doctor, came the calm reply. You are now Earth's primary contact team. The first contact protocol puts you in charge. But we are just plant scientists, Wu protested. That is exactly why we chose your team. Follow your instructions, make them welcome. The line went dead. Wu stared at the phone, then at his 2 friends. Na was still holding her dirty gardening gloves. Du had soil under his fingernails. They want us to meet with alien warriors? Na asked. I think so, Wu replied. The alien ships landed in the open field next to their research center. The ground shook. Windows rattled. Steam rose from the landing thrusters. Then everything became quiet. Veltar stepped out first. His crystal body caught the sunlight and threw rainbow patterns across the grass. Behind him came his warriors. They looked like creatures from nightmares. Sharp teeth, claws, weapons that hummed with deadly energy. They expected to see human soldiers, tanks, weapons pointed at them. Instead, they saw 3 humans in dirty work clothes walking toward them with no fear at all. The humans carried no weapons. They did not even look worried. Welcome to Earth, said Wu with a slight bow. I am Dr. Kang Wu. This is Li Na and Park Do. We are very happy to meet you. Veltar stared at them. These could not be the planet's defenders. They looked like farmers, not warriors. Their clothes had stains. Their hands were dirty. The female. One smelled like growing things. I am Commander Veltar of the Galactic Empire, he announced, his voice booming across the field. This world is now under our control. Surrender your weapons and prepare for processing. The 3 humans looked at each other. Then Wu smiled. I think there might be some confusion, he said gently. We do not have weapons. We are scientists. We study plants. Plants? Crix chittered, his translator making harsh clicking sounds. You defend your world with plants? Oh no, Na laughed. We do not defend anything. We just grow things. Would you like to see what we have been working on? It is quite interesting. Gol growled low in his throat. These humans were either very brave or very stupid. On his home world, showing weakness to predators meant instant death. You do not understand, Veltar said, making his crystal body glow brighter to show his power. We are here to conquer your species. Your world belongs to us now. Du stepped forward. He was the oldest of the 3 humans, with gray in his hair and gentle eyes. You have traveled a very long way, he said. You must be tired and hungry. Please come and rest. Let us show you our gardens. Then we can talk about whatever you need." The alien warriors exchanged glances. This was not how conquests usually went. Primitive species either fought desperately or surrendered in terror. They did not invite their conquerors to look at gardens. "This could be a trap," whispered one of Veltar's lieutenants. "What trap?" Veltar replied quietly. "Look at them. They have no weapons, no armor, no defenses. 3 farmers against the Empire's finest warriors." Na had been listening with her enhanced translator earpiece. She understood some of their conversation. "We promise this is not a trap," she said kindly. "We really do just want to show you our work. We are very proud of what we grow here." Wu nodded. "The things we study might interest you. Your species travels between stars, so you must be very advanced. Perhaps you will understand what we have learned." Veltar made his decision. These humans posed no threat. His warriors could kill them all in seconds if needed. And he was curious about what kind of plants grew on a death world. Intelligence had mentioned that Earth was considered dangerous by galactic standards, but these humans seemed soft and weak. "Very well," he announced. "Show us these plants of yours, but do not try anything foolish." The 3 humans smiled and began walking toward their research facility. The alien warriors followed, weapons ready but not quite aimed. They moved in formation, protecting their commander. None of them noticed that the humans showed no fear at all. None of them wondered why Earth's defenders would be plant scientists. None of them asked why the government would send farmers to meet alien conquerors. If they had asked those questions, they might have been prepared for what they were about to see. Instead, they followed 3 smiling humans toward a collection of simple buildings surrounded by green growing things. They thought they were about to see a primitive agricultural display. They had no idea they were walking toward the most terrifying weapons collection in the known galaxy. The walk to the research buildings took only 5 minutes, but it felt longer to the alien warriors. They kept expecting an ambush. Their sensors swept the area constantly, looking for hidden weapons or soldiers. Instead, they found only plants, lots and lots of plants. "Your scans show no military installations," reported Crix to his commander, clicking his mandibles nervously. "No weapons manufacturing, no defense systems, just organic compounds everywhere." Veltar nodded, but something felt wrong. In 47 conquests, he had never seen anything like this. The humans walked without fear. They chatted with each other about soil conditions and weather patterns. They acted like they were taking friends on a casual tour, not leading alien invaders to their most important facility. "The building ahead houses our main research," Wu said, pointing to a large structure made mostly of glass and metal. "We keep our most interesting specimens there." "Specimens?" Goal asked, his predator instincts making him suspicious of anything called specimens. "Plants," Na explained cheerfully. "We collect plants from all over our world. Some are common, some are rare, some are quite dangerous." The word dangerous made all the warriors tense up. Finally, these soft humans were admitting they had weapons. "Dangerous how?" Veltar demanded. Du laughed, a warm, grandfatherly sound. "Oh, they can hurt you if you are not careful. Some are poisonous, some have thorns, some release chemicals, but we know how to handle them safely." The aliens relaxed slightly. Primitive biological hazards were hardly a threat to warriors in advanced armor. Their suits could protect them from any natural toxins this backward planet might produce. They reached the main building. Up close, the warriors could see it was divided into many sections. Glass walls separated different areas. Each section seemed to have its own climate control. Some were hot and humid, others were cool and dry. The air recycling systems hummed constantly. "We need different environments for different types of plants," Na explained, noticing their interest. "What grows well in a desert will die in a rainforest." Wu pulled out an identification card and held it to a scanner beside the main door. "We keep the really dangerous ones separated from the public areas," he said casually. "Safety protocols, you understand?" The door opened with a soft hiss. Cool air flowed out, carrying strange scents. The aliens' enhanced senses immediately detected thousands of chemical compounds they had never encountered before. Their armor systems began analyzing the air, trying to identify potential threats. Warning: unknown biological agents detected, announced Crix's suit computer in his Zeo language. Recommend full protective protocols. Warning: airborne toxins present, Goal's armor reported. Unknown threat level. Similar alerts sounded for all the warriors, but the three humans walked into the building breathing normally, wearing nothing but their work clothes. Is your atmosphere dangerous? Veltar asked, his crystal body starting to glow with concern. Oh no, Wu replied. Well, not unless you have allergies. Some people sneeze around certain pollens. Pollens? Plant reproductive material, Na explained. It floats in the air during growing season. Completely natural. The warriors followed the humans into the first chamber. Their sensors went crazy. The walls were lined with plants in pots growing in soil, hanging from the ceiling, climbing up support structures. Green everywhere, and every single plant was producing chemical compounds that their computers could not identify. This is our teaching collection, Doe said proudly. We bring students here to learn about basic plant biology. Basic? The aliens stared at the display. Their scanners showed toxic alkaloids, poisonous proteins, and chemical defense systems that would require industrial equipment to synthesize on their homeworlds. These humans called it basic education. Na walked to a rose bush covered in beautiful red flowers. These are very popular on our world, she said, reaching toward the stem. Stop! Goal roared, his predator instincts screaming danger. Na paused, looking confused. Is something wrong? Your scanner shows that plant produces penetrating spines coated with infectious bacteria, one of Veltar's lieutenants reported. Touching it would cause sepsis. The three humans looked at each other and burst into laughter. Oh, you mean the thorns, Wu chuckled. Yes, roses have thorns, but they are not really dangerous. Look. He reached out and gently touched the stem, avoiding the sharp points. You just have to be careful where you put your fingers. The warriors watched in horror as the human deliberately made contact with what their computers called a biological weapon. When nothing happened to him, their confusion grew deeper. How are you not dead? Crix chittered. From rose thorns? Na asked, still laughing. They just make small cuts. They sting a little, but they heal quickly. Children learn to be careful around them. Your children handle weapons? Veltar demanded. Roses are not weapons, Du said gently. They are flowers, beautiful flowers. We give them to people we love. The aliens stared at him. On their worlds, giving someone a biological weapon would be an act of war. These humans gave them to express affection. Wu moved to the next display. Now these are more interesting, he said, stopping beside a plant with large, spotted leaves and tall spikes of purple flowers. Foxglove. Very pretty, but you should not eat it. The scanners immediately identified multiple cardiac glycosides, compounds that could stop a heart in minutes. That is a chemical warfare agent, Gull growled. It is medicine, Na corrected. In the right amount, it helps people with heart problems. In the wrong amount, it kills them. Dose makes the poison, as we say. You use cardiac toxins as medicine? Many of our medicines come from plants, Wu explained. Plants make chemicals to protect themselves from insects and disease. We learn to use those same chemicals to heal our bodies. Veltar was beginning to understand something that frightened him more than any weapon he had ever faced. These humans did not just live alongside biological weapons. They studied them. They understood them. They used them as tools for healing and beauty. Du led them to the next section. The air here smelled different, sweeter, but with an underlying sharpness that made the warriors' breathing filters work harder. Oleander, he announced, gesturing to a bush covered in delicate pink flowers. One of our most beautiful garden plants, also one of the most toxic. Every part of it can kill you. Leaves, flowers, bark, roots, even the smoke if you burn it. The alien scanners confirmed his words. This single plant contained enough poison to kill hundreds of individuals. Yet it was planted in a decorative, pot surrounded by other flowers clearly meant for display. "Why do you grow it?" Veltar asked. "Because it is beautiful," Na said simply, "and it grows well in hot, dry places where other plants might die. It is very useful for landscaping." "You landscape with lethal toxins?" "We landscape with plants that work well in different environments," Wu corrected. "Some happen to be toxic. Some have thorns. Some attract bees. Each plant has its own characteristics." The warriors were quiet for a long moment, trying to process what they were seeing. These humans surrounded themselves with biological weapons and called them gardens. They grew cardiac poisons for their beauty. They gave penetrating spine weapons to people they loved. And they did it all with the casual confidence of a species that had learned to live in partnership with things that could kill them. "This is just the beginning," Du said kindly, noticing their stunned expressions. "Wait until you see what we keep in the secure sections." Wu led them deeper into the facility. The next door required 2 identification cards and a hand scanner. Warning signs were posted in multiple human languages, showing symbols the aliens did not recognize but somehow understood meant danger. "This section requires more care," Na explained as the heavy door clicked open. "Some of these plants are quite aggressive." Aggressive plants. The alien warriors had conquered worlds with sentient crystal forests and poisonous gas swamps, but they had never heard anyone describe plants as aggressive with such casual calm. The air inside this section felt different. Thicker. Their armor systems immediately detected higher concentrations of organic compounds. Some of their computers began showing error messages as they tried to identify substances that should not exist. "Venus flytraps," Du announced proudly, gesturing to a table covered with small plants that looked like green mouths full of teeth. "They eat insects." The warriors watched in fascination and horror as one of the plants suddenly snapped shut around a fly that had wandered too close. The trap sealed completely, beginning to digest its prey while they watched. "They move," Crix observed, his voice shaking slightly. "Plants are not supposed to move." "These ones do," Wu said cheerfully. "They can sense when something touches their trigger hairs. Then they close in about half a second. Very efficient hunters." "Hunters? Well, they hunt insects," Na clarified. "They need nutrients that the soil cannot provide, so they catch and eat bugs." Goal's predator instincts were screaming. On his world, anything that could hunt was either prey or competition. These plants were clearly predators, even if they were small ones. "Are they dangerous to larger creatures?" he asked. "Not really," Du replied. "They are too small to hurt anything bigger than a finger. Though I suppose if you stuck your whole hand in one and left it there, it might cause some irritation." The casual way he discussed sticking body parts into carnivorous plants made all the warriors take a step backward. The next display made their sensors go completely silent for several seconds. "Castor bean plants," Wu announced. "We grow these for their beautiful leaves and interesting seed pods." When the scanners finally responded, they painted the air around the plants bright red on the warriors' helmet displays. Danger. Extreme danger. The computers identified ricin concentrations that could kill thousands. "That is a weapon of mass destruction," Veltar whispered. "It is a garden plant," Na corrected. "Very pretty. Good for tropical landscaping. You just have to be careful with the seeds." "Careful how?" "Do not eat them," she said with a shrug. "The same way you would be careful not to eat anything else that is bad for you. Your people know not to eat these seeds?" "Of course. We teach children about dangerous plants when they are very young. Everyone learns which mushrooms are safe, which berries can make you sick, which plants should not be touched." Du moved to the next section where trees grew in large containers. They looked normal except for the warning barriers around them and the air filtration systems working overtime above them. "Manchineel trees," he said. "From our tropical regions. Very dangerous but fascinating to study." The warriors' scanners showed toxic compounds in the bark, leaves, sap, and fruit. Standing near the trees without protection would cause severe burns. Touching them would destroy skin and eyes. Even the smoke from burning their wood was lethal. "Why do you study them?" Veltar asked. "They are part of our ecosystem," Wu explained. "They grow naturally on our beaches and in our coastal forests. We want to understand how they work, what role they play in their environment. They grow naturally? Oh yes. Earth has many plants like this. We estimate about 10,000 species that are seriously dangerous to humans. Maybe twice that many if you count the ones that are only dangerous if you eat them. 20,000 species of dangerous plants. The warriors tried to imagine a world where deadly organisms grew everywhere, where children had to learn to identify thousands of potential threats just to play outside safely. How does your species survive? Crix asked. We adapt, Na said simply. We learn, we teach our children, we study the plants to understand them better. The final area in this section was marked with more warning signs and protected by thick glass barriers. Inside, the aliens could see fungal growths that seemed to move on their own, pulsing with unnatural colors. Our mushroom collection, Doe announced. Fungi are not technically plants, but we study them here because they are so interesting. The scanners showed compounds that dissolved organic matter, others that attacked nervous systems, and some that seemed to defy classification entirely. Death caps, Wu pointed to innocent-looking white mushrooms. Very deadly. A single mushroom can kill an adult human. Destroying angels, Na added, indicating similar white specimens. They cause liver failure over several days. Very unpleasant. Cordyceps, Du continued, gesturing to orange fungal growths. These can take over an insect's brain and control its behavior before killing it. The warriors stared at organisms that could hijack minds and control bodies. Biological warfare agents that could dissolve flesh and shut down organs. Weapons that looked harmless until they killed you slowly and painfully. You study mind control agents? Gaul asked. We study all types of fungi, Wu replied. Some are dangerous, some are delicious, some make medicine. This one here produces antibiotics that save millions of lives every year. He pointed to a blue-green mold that looked completely ordinary. You make weapons and medicine from the same organisms? We make whatever we need, Na said. The fungi do not care how we use them. They just grow and produce their chemicals. We decide what to do with those chemicals. Veltar was beginning to understand something that terrified him. These humans did not just survive on a world full of biological weapons. They had learned to partner with them. They grew the dangerous ones in their gardens. They studied them in their schools. They turned them into medicine and food and tools. They had domesticated death itself and called it beautiful. This is just the common section, Doe said kindly, noticing the aliens' shocked expressions. The really interesting specimens are in the high-security areas. High security? Veltar repeated weakly. Oh yes, Wu nodded. Some plants are too dangerous to keep with the regular collection. We have special facilities for those ones. The warriors looked at each other. If these casual horrors were the safe specimens, what could possibly be dangerous enough to require high security? Would you like to see? Na asked with the enthusiasm of someone sharing a beloved hobby. None of the warriors trusted their voices to answer. They just nodded and followed the three humans deeper into what they now realized was not a research facility at all. It was an arsenal. The most terrifying weapons collection in the galaxy, and these humans treated it like a public garden. The high-security section required 3 different keycards, a biometric scan, and a verbal password that Na spoke in rapid Korean. The massive doors opened to reveal an airlock chamber with decontamination systems that looked more advanced than anything the warriors had on their own ships. We have to be very careful in here, Wu said as they put on light protective gear. Some of these plants can affect you just by being in the same room. The aliens noticed that even with protection, the humans moved with practiced caution. No, more casual handling. No more careless gestures. Whatever lived behind these doors demanded respect even from the species that had learned to garden with poison. Are you certain it is safe for us to enter? Veltar asked. Safe enough, Du replied, as long as we follow the rules and do not touch anything without permission. The inner chamber was enormous. Climate-controlled sections stretched away in all directions, each one containing specimens that made the warriors' scanners either scream warnings or shut down completely to avoid overload. Jimpy. Na announced, pointing to a plant covered in innocent-looking fuzzy leaves. From our Australian continent, the pain from touching it can last for years. The scanners showed microscopic needles covering every surface, each one loaded with neurotoxins designed to cause maximum agony. Years of pain? There are stories of people who touched it decades ago and still feel the burning during certain weather, Wu explained. We study it to understand how pain signals work in the nervous system. Gaul's predator instincts recognized the ultimate torture device. Pain that lasted for years from a single touch. His own species' most advanced interrogation tools could not match it. The next specimen made their scanners shut down entirely. Manchineel sap, Du said, indicating a sealed container of milky white liquid. One drop in your eye will blind you permanently. If it gets on your skin during rain, the water spreads it everywhere. You collect the sap? We study how it works, Na replied. Understanding these mechanisms helps us develop better treatments for accidental exposure. Accidental exposure happens often? Not often, but it happens, Wu admitted. People do not always recognize dangerous plants when they travel to new areas. The warriors tried to imagine a species so adaptable that they considered encounters with blinding chemical weapons to be accidental travel hazards. They moved to a section that required additional protective equipment. Even the humans put on full face masks and gloves. Ricinus communis, Na announced. We showed you these earlier, but these specimens are specially cultivated for maximum alkaloid production. The scanners that were still working showed ricin concentrations thousands of times higher than the earlier plants. These were not garden decorations. These were optimized biological weapons. Why do you optimize them? Veltar asked. Research, Wu explained. We need pure compounds for medical studies. Understanding how ricin works helps us develop treatments. For exposure, you develop treatments by making the poison stronger? We develop treatments by understanding exactly how the poison works, Du corrected. You cannot cure something you do not understand. The logic was sound but terrifying. These humans made their weapons more deadly in order to learn how to survive them. The central area of the facility housed something that made all the warriors take several steps backward. A complete ecosystem under glass, where dozens of different, deadly species grew together in apparent harmony. Our pride and joy, Na said with obvious affection. A balanced biotoxin ecosystem. Every plant here produces chemicals that would kill most organisms, but they have evolved together to coexist. The warriors watched plants that secreted acids, others that released nerve agents, fungi that decomposed organic matter, and flowering vines that produced cardiac toxins, all growing peacefully together in a closed system that recycled death into life and back to death again. It is beautiful, Du said quietly. Nature's perfect chemical warfare laboratory, where every organism is both predator and prey. You find chemical warfare beautiful? Crix asked. We find balance beautiful, Wu replied. These plants have been fighting each other for millions of years. They developed weapons and defenses and counterweapons. Now they exist in perfect equilibrium. And humans learn to live with them, Na said simply. We studied them until we understood the rules. Then we became part of the balance. Gaul realized what he was seeing. These humans had not conquered their world's biological weapons. They had joined them. They had become part of an ecosystem based on mutual chemical warfare, and they called it paradise. The final display was separated from everything else by multiple barriers and its own air system. Warning signs in a dozen languages surrounded a single tree growing in isolation. Dendrochnide moroids, Wu announced with reverence. The most dangerous plant on our world. We have only one specimen and we study it very carefully. The warriors' few remaining functional scanners painted the entire area in colors that meant certain death. This single tree produced compounds so toxic that their computers could not calculate safe exposure limits. A single leaf brushing against skin can cause death by suicide, Na explained clinically. The pain is so intense that victims often take their own lives to escape it. You keep something that causes suicide? We keep it contained and study it from a safe distance, Du corrected. Understanding ultimate toxicity helps us understand all lesser toxins. Has anyone ever been exposed? Accidentally, yes, Wu admitted. Forest workers, researchers, tourists who did not recognize it. We have developed some treatments, but they are not perfect. Veltar stared at the single tree that represented the pinnacle of biological warfare. His own species had never developed anything so absolutely lethal. Even their most advanced weapons killed cleanly. This thing drove its victims insane with agony before death released them, and these soft, gentle humans studied it to learn from it. Why? He asked finally. Why? Keep such things? Why study them? Why live on a world that can kill you in so many horrible ways? The three humans looked at each other, sharing some silent communication that spoke of years working together. Because this is our home, Na said simply. These plants are part of our world. We did not choose to evolve alongside them, but we did. So we learned to understand them. Because knowledge is power, Wu added. The more we understand about how these things work, the better we can protect ourselves and others. Because they are beautiful, Do concluded. Even the dangerous ones. Even the deadly ones. Life finds a way to be beautiful. Even when it is terrible, the warriors stood in silence, surrounded by the most comprehensive collection of biological weapons they had ever imagined. Weapons that could kill in seconds or torture for years. Weapons that could control minds or dissolve flesh. Weapons that grew naturally on this world and bloomed in gardens and were given as gifts of love. And the humans who tended them spoke of beauty and balance and home. This is what we wanted to show you, Wu said gently. This is what we do here. This is who we are. Veltar finally understood why Earth was called a death world, and why conquering it had always been impossible. Commander Veltar stood perfectly still in the center of the biological weapons facility, his crystal body dim and quiet. Around him, his elite strike team, warriors who had conquered 47 worlds, stared at the displays with the stunned silence of soldiers who had finally found something they could not fight. They had come expecting to battle primitives with crude weapons. Instead, they found gardeners who casually tended arsenals that could sterilize star systems. The humans had not threatened them or shown off their power. They had simply shared their hobby with the enthusiasm of people who loved their work. Would you like some tea? Wu asked gently, breaking the long silence. We have a nice variety made from earth plants. The warriors' scanners immediately identified the tea leaves as containing mild alkaloids, caffeine, and dozens of other psychoactive compounds. On their world, such substances would be classified as drugs requiring medical supervision. You drink psychoactive chemicals recreationally? Crix managed to ask. We drink tea, Na replied with a smile. It helps people relax and think clearly, very popular across our whole world. The aliens watched as the three humans prepared a casual meal using what their computers identified as a complex mixture of defensive plant compounds, toxic seeds, and mildly hallucinogenic herbs. The humans called it lunch with herbs from our garden. Everything you eat is biochemically active? Goal asked. Everything anyone eats is biochemically active, Du pointed out reasonably. Food is just chemicals that keep you alive instead of chemicals that kill you. Sometimes the difference is very small. Veltar accepted a cup of the tea with hands that shook slightly. The liquid smelled pleasant, but his scanners warned him it contained enough stimulants to affect his nervous system. These humans had offered him drugs as casually as they might offer water. He took a small sip. It was warm and comforting, with a complex flavor that seemed to calm his anxiety while sharpening his thoughts. His body chemistry began to stabilize as the mild compounds took effect. This is pleasant, he admitted. Tea is one of our great discoveries, Wu said proudly, along with coffee, chocolate, and wine, all mildly psychoactive, all perfectly safe in normal amounts. You have multiple recreational biochemical compounds. We have hundreds, Na replied. Spices, herbs, teas, fermented beverages. Humans enjoy mild chemical experiences. They help us socialize and relax. The warriors sat down slowly, still processing what they had seen. Their entire understanding of biological warfare had been turned upside down. These humans did not weaponize plants. They lived with them, learned from them, and somehow found beauty in organisms designed to kill. "I must ask," Veltar said finally, "why did your government send botanists to meet with invaders? Why not your military leaders?" The three humans exchanged glances again, that same silent communication that spoke of years of shared understanding. "What would military leaders have shown you?" Wu asked. "Weapons, threats, demonstrations of force?" "That is how first contact usually works," the commander admitted. "But you are not our enemies," Du said simply. "You are visitors, guests. You came to our world, and hospitality demands that we show you who we are. By showing us your weapons? By showing you our lives." Not corrected. "These plants are not weapons to us. They are part of our world, part of what makes Earth beautiful and dangerous and alive." Gol leaned forward, his predator instincts finally understanding something important. "You are not showing off your power. You are showing us why you cannot be conquered. Can we not?" Wu asked curiously. "Any species that calls this collection a garden, that lives peacefully with organisms that could destroy civilizations, that teaches their children to navigate thousands of deadly species as basic survival skills." Veltar paused, trying to find words. "Such a species cannot be broken by conquest. You have already made peace with death itself." "We have made peace with life," Du corrected gently. "Life in all its forms, beautiful and terrible and complex and dangerous. Your people would adapt to any conditions we might impose," Crix realized. "If we destroyed your cities, you would grow new ones. If we took your technology, you would develop alternatives. If we tried to control your food supply, we would eat plants you cannot even identify." Na finished with a laugh. "Yes, humans are very adaptable. We had to be to survive on Earth." The warriors sat in contemplative silence. Everything about this encounter had challenged their assumptions about power and conquest. These humans had defeated them without firing a shot, simply by being themselves. "What happens now?" Veltar asked. "Now you decide," Wu replied. "You came here to conquer us. You have seen what we are. What do you choose to do?" "We could still demand your surrender," Gol pointed out, though his voice lacked conviction. "You could," Do agreed peacefully. "But what would you be conquering? A species that turns weapons into gardens? People who study death to understand life? A world where every backyard contains enough biological agents to destroy armies? We would be conquering ourselves," Veltar realized with sudden clarity. "Any species that tried to rule Earth would have to become like humans to survive. We would have to learn your ways, adopt your knowledge, live by your rules. In the end, you would become us," Na said simply. "That is what this world does. It changes everyone who lives here." The commander made his decision. He activated his communication device and spoke in his own language to the fleet waiting in orbit. "All ships, this is Veltar. Mission status is changed. Stand down from conquest protocols. Initiate diplomatic contact procedures." His officers' voices crackled with confusion, but he continued. "Recommendation to High Command. Immediate alliance. Proposal with Earth humans. Strategic value exceptional. Threat assessment incalculable if hostile, invaluable if allied." He closed the channel and looked at the three humans who had casually redefined warfare simply by sharing their love of plants. "We would like to learn," he said formally, "if you would teach us." "Of course," Wu replied with obvious delight. "Would you like to see our seed bank? We preserve specimens from across our entire world there. Millions of species, including samples of everything you saw today." "You preserve the dangerous ones too?" "Especially the dangerous ones," Du said, seriously. "They are part of our heritage, part of what makes our world unique. We would never let them disappear." As they walked toward the seed bank, Gol asked the question that had been troubling him most. "Do your people really give these plants to express affection?" "Roses, yes," Na confirmed. "And many others. Flowers are traditional gifts for people we care about. You give biological weapons to people you love? We give beauty to people we love, she corrected. The fact that roses have thorns does not make them less beautiful. If anything, it makes them more precious. Something lovely that must be handled with care and respect. Veltar understood then why humans had never been conquered, why they never would be. They had learned to find beauty in danger, love in careful, respect and peace in the balance between life and death. They were not warriors in the traditional sense. They were something far more dangerous and far more valuable. They were survivors who had learned to thrive in partnership with the forces that could destroy them. Any species wise enough to ally with them would gain access to knowledge beyond price. Any species foolish enough to fight them would face not just weapons, but an entire world that had been perfecting the art of beautiful, deadly survival for millions of years. The Galactic Empire had found something it had never encountered before, a species it needed more than it wanted to conquer. As they entered the seed bank, surrounded by the preserved legacy of Earth's magnificent and terrible diversity, Veltar began composing his report. It would recommend not conquest, but partnership. Not dominion, but alliance. The humans had won without fighting, simply by being who they were, and they had done it by offering tea and showing off their garden.